3 armed men stormed into my ranch, waving guns and yelling like they were cops, over a fence. A fence. But they weren't law enforcement, and they had no clue who they were dealing with. By the time it was over, they weren't just running. They were about to be indicted. It started like any other morning. I was out by the tomatoes, watering the patch my late wife and I planted our first summer here. There's a kind of peace that settles on a place after sunrise. Birds calling, cattle lowing, and that breeze that tells you life still means something. That peace shattered the second I saw that black SUV parked across from my gate. Again. No markings, just sitting there like it owned the road. I'd noticed it for 3 days straight. Same time, same spot. My gut. It didn't like it. See, I'm not just some retired rancher. I was Attorney General of this state for 30 years. I've signed arrest warrants on cartel leaders and corrupt judges. So yeah, I know what a stakeout looks like. I figured I'd talk to Sheriff Lane after breakfast. But the trouble didn't wait. 3 guys in fake security uniforms marched right through my gate. The one in front had mirrored sunglasses and a buzz cut like he was playing G.I. Joe. He raised this shiny badge, probably bought online, and said, "Sir, you're in violation of HOA Covenant 14.7.1. Your fence line and that oak tree are non-compliant. We're placing you under citizen's arrest." Now, I could have laughed. Should have. But I didn't. I just set my watering can down, looked each of them dead in the eyes, and said real calm, "You got 60 seconds to tell me who sent you, or I swear, I'll make sure you regret ever putting on those knockoff badges." They froze. One started reaching for a piece of paper that looked more like a takeout menu than a warrant. I pulled out my phone, hit record, and asked again, this time louder. That's when they broke, started backing toward the SUV, muttering something about HOA authority. I said, "HOA can't arrest anyone, son, but impersonating a cop? That'll get you 5 to 20. They peeled out, but not before I got their plates. And from the second their tires kicked up gravel, I knew exactly who sent them. Evelyn Crowder. Evelyn is the HOA president of Sycamore Ridge Estates. Think Southern charm meets suburban dictator. She's been trying to bring my ranch under HOA control for 2 years, despite the fact my land predates the subdivision by 60 years. Every attempt, fines, threats, public shaming, failed. This was her next move, and now she'd made it personal. Later that day, I found a listening device, tucked into the crook of that same oak tree, hidden there like it belonged. I used tweezers to pull it free, dropped it in a Ziploc. Evidence. Next morning, she went full propaganda. Evelyn posted photos of my ranch online, cropped to make my rose beds look like overgrown weeds. The fence Clara and I built with our own hands like it was falling apart. She attached a fake fine notice, $5,000 for continued violations of neighborhood standards. Looked official, letterhead, statute numbers, even a phony officer's signature. But the fonts were wrong. The language was wrong. And that officer? That position didn't exist. I wasn't going to let this go quietly. I looped in Rachel, runs the town's coffee shop, knows everyone. Together, we dissected Evelyn's post, exposed the fake accounts boosting her lies, and traced her campaign back to her old banking buddies and donors from her city council race. This wasn't about fences. It was about power, and a redevelopment scheme targeting my land. Then came the HOA meeting. Evelyn walked in like she was about to win an award. Head table, packed room, cameras. Her speech was ready. "Mr. Callahan's negligence threatens our property values." I waited. Let her finish. Then I stood, connected my phone to the projector, and pulled up the fake fine. "Let's go line by line," I said. "This statute doesn't exist. This role? Not real. This document? Fraud. The crowd shifted. Her support cracked. Some muttered. Others stared. One man in back asked, "Who created this?" Evelyn flushed, snapped. "He's intimidating people with legalese." But I wasn't done. I went home thinking I'd landed the final blow. I was wrong. Next day, Evelyn released a professionally edited video, cut together footage from HOA meetings, the county fair, even a chat I had with the mailman, voiceovers, manipulated audio, distorted context. She painted me as a bully, a corrupt old man using power to intimidate, and it worked. People I'd known for years stopped talking to me, crossed the street. Clara's funeral guests, gone silent. Her lies had done more damage than I expected. And then came the kicker, an emergency HOA meeting set for Monday. Vote to revoke my membership, which would let them fine me into oblivion or force me to sell. I was about ready to give up. Thought about calling a realtor. Then, hope. A message from a name I hadn't seen in months. Monica Reyes. She used to live here, left after Evelyn's harassment got too much. We met in secret. She handed me emails, bank statements, even a phone recording. Evelyn talking about me, saying, "He'll sell. We'll break him like we did the others." I had proof. Problem was, Evelyn had guards blocking the HOA meeting. I wasn't on the list. But Rachel? She had a plan. We snuck in through a side door, used the storage hallway to get to the front, just as Evelyn called for the vote. "Before you decide my fate," I said, plugging in my laptop, "listen to your president," in her own words. Her voice played loud and clear, talking about harassing families, faking violations, profiting off property turnover. The room fell silent. People gasped. Others looked furious. Even her staunchest allies were stunned. Then Howard, her right-hand man, stood up and said he'd been promised a job in her next political campaign in exchange for pushing people out. That broke it. Vote failed. New vote passed to investigate Evelyn. You'd think that would be the end. It wasn't. Evelyn went darker. Hired real criminals to vandalize my ranch in the night, make it look like I'd let the place rot. Luckily, Sheriff Lane was ready. We hid cameras, staged my house to look empty, and waited. At 2 a.m., they came, busted the fence, slashed the garden, even cut the power box. Then, Evelyn rolled up with a news crew. The gasping playing the hero. That's when I stepped out. "You're on my land, Evelyn," I said, 20 minutes after your crew did the damage. She tried to deny it. Then I hit play, her voice on tape, bragging about the setup. Howard confessed. Evelyn froze. The news crew? Still filming. Sheriff Lane pulled up minutes later, arrest warrant in hand. Charges: conspiracy to vandalize, fraud, racketeering, HOA fund misuse. Evelyn's world unraveled. Her development partner? Under federal investigation. That night, neighbors threw a barbecue in my backyard. Folks apologized, shared stories, said they'd been scared. Some had even packed to leave. Now, they were staying. One woman, a single mom, told me, "You didn't just save your land, you saved this place for all of us." Someone asked if I'd run for HOA president. I just looked up at Clara's old window and smiled. "Looks like retirement's gonna be busy after all," I whispered. And to any wondering if it was worth it, ask yourself this: what would you do if you were me?